Do not avert your eyes. That's what's coming at us. This is what a collective, anonymous body of majority wants to see on television.
I think about this quote a lot from Werner Herzog. He was talking about television and specifically WrestleMania, but I think it applies to any form of popular entertainment. The basic idea is that the most popular things, the biggest movies and TV shows and even digital media, are a reflection of what we want to see, so we can read from them insights about our desires and aversions. As Professor John Hunter from Bucknell pointed out recently in a TEDx talk, which I'll link below, our tentpole movies aren't entertaining by accident. If you're investing in something that costs anywhere from $200 million to $300 million, you aren't taking any chances.
Every second of these films and TV shows is scrutinized by editors and photographers and directors and producers and marketing people and studio executives, and it is designed to cater to our desires, to your desires, to be as popular as possible, to as many people as possible.
Hunter argues that what our biggest movies tell us is that we're not interested in seeing reality as it is. We prefer worlds that are animated or in a galaxy far, far away. We prefer a universe populated with superheroes, or an island populated by dinosaurs, or a super advanced kingdom hidden away in the jungle. Now, to be fair, popular entertainment has always had an escapist element, though you could say that it's more prominent now than in the past. But what I find more interesting about Hunter's argument is a specific aversion that he finds in the entertainment of today. The resentment of our smartphones, those ever-present things that connect us to social media and capture more and more of our free time every year. If we look at our most popular movies, he says, what we don't see is our devices. I immediately became interested in the truth of this claim, so I decided to take a closer look at the highest domestic grossing movies of this year, 2018, to see if smartphones were in them, and if they were, how exactly they were being used. Okay, first, in Black Panther, America's highest grossing movie of 2018 and likely to stay that way, there are 3 brief instances of smartphone use. First, by Linda. You guys remember Linda, right? She uses her phone to intercept security footage. Then we see a couple shots of people taking pictures of T'Challa after a chase sequence. Then Claw uses one to text someone later in the film, though we don't see who or know why. In Avengers Infinity War, there are exactly 0 smartphones. None. However, Tony Stark, the most technologically advanced human on the planet who wears a suit made of nanoparticles, does use a phone in the movie. It just looks like this. In the third highest grossing movie of 2018, The Incredibles 2, there are also 0 smartphones, having to do with the fact that the world has this mid-century modern aesthetic. Even though there are some high-tech things, it's confusing. Like Infinity War, however, there is no shortage of older phones.
Hello?
In Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom, we get our first look at a major character using a smartphone for something other than communication, and we actually see what she's looking at. Claire is reading the news, though it's brief, and the other 3 instances of smartphone use in this movie are all phone calls. In Deadpool 2, we get 1 phone call, 1 mindless surf from Yukio, and this homage to Say Anything. In Mission Impossible Fallout, Ethan Hunt, the Linda of these movies, repurposes a smartphone to use it as a tracker twice. There's 1 FaceTime call and 1 phone handoff. In Ant-Man and the Wasp, there's just 1 FaceTime call and 1 regular call. And finally, in Solo, there are no smartphones at all, because this is a far future galaxy that's set in the past that has what George Lucas thought future things would look like 40 years ago. Altogether, that's 16 smartphones in the top 8 grossing films of 2018. I couldn't get access to 9 and 10 because they're still out in theaters, but I think this is a good sample. The uses break down like this: 5 phone calls, 2 video calls, 4 what I'll call single-use spy stuff, 1 news source, 1 camera, 2 unknown, Claw and Yukio, and 1 Say Anything homage. If we're trying to determine the truth of Professor Hunter's claim that the lack of smartphones is indicative of a popular resentment toward the way these devices control our lives and eat up our free time, we should compare the way that people use smartphones in these movies to the way that we do. Through that lens, you can see that at least 5 of these uses uses have little or no relationship to real life, unless you're a spy, that is. Phone calls, similarly, are an activity that could just as easily be done on Tony Stark's flip phone or Mr. Incredible's cordless. That leaves only 6 uses. Video calls are, I don't think, something that most of us worry about when it comes to time wasting, same for taking photos. And as for Yukio and Claw, we don't even see what they're doing. That leaves this single instance of Claire checking the news. Now, for me, at least, that is definitely a common time-sucking use of my smartphone. In the end, you can decide for yourself whether this evidence is conclusive. I think there is enough here to at least partially support Hunter's claims, because though there are smartphones in some of these movies, their combined runtime comes out to only about a minute, if that, and I don't think we really see anyone using them in the ways that we might be frustrated with in our, on average, 3.3 hours of mobile usage a day. And I'm more convinced when I realize that in all of these films, there are no references or mentions at all of social media. According to the data company Apptopia, across the 100 most popular apps, 54% of screen time is spent in apps owned by Google or Facebook. That's things like YouTube, Gmail, Facebook, WhatsApp, and Instagram. None of these apps, or any generic equivalents, appear in the highest grossing movies of 2018. The time-wasting, data-mining, addiction-creating activity that has become a key, maybe even a defining feature of our relationship with these devices is absent from our most popular entertainment. Now, this doesn't mean that our smartphones and social media don't feature in any movies. In fact, one of the best movies of this year, in my opinion, Bo Burnham's 8th Grade, is all about the ways that our devices and the social internet shape the way we interact. Confronting that relationship is and will be an important subject for film. But our most popular movies have never really been about confronting our fears and resentments.
Hey, man.
They're about escaping them for a couple hours at the end of a hard week. And in that spirit, I think you can say that smartphones may play a big role in our lives, bigger maybe than we want to admit, but they barely have any part in our biggest movies. Hey everybody, thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys had a great Thanksgiving. This episode was brought to you by Squarespace. If you want to make a website and you want it to be a really easy process, Squarespace has some beautiful award-winning designer templates to choose from that makes that process so simple. It's got 24-hour customer service, no upgrades, nothing to install, no patches ever, and picking your domain name is really easy too. You can start your free trial at squarespace.com, and if you use the offer code NERDWRITER, you can get 10% off your first purchase. Thanks guys, I'll see you next time.